So yesterday we discussed about SnowPipe. Okay, how to create a pipe, how to do the configurations from Snowflake side as well as AWS side. Okay, then how to load the files by using SnowPipe. We have seen all those things yesterday. But just assume if everything is going as expected, like files are coming on time and we are loading them to tables, okay, we are all happy. But something goes wrong, okay. There is some user has edited the code, the SnowPipe code, or we are getting wrong files, like something is wrong in the file, or authentication details, or something someone has modified. So there can be many number of issues in the real time. Okay, it's not like plain we get the files and we load it into the tables. Okay, in production we may not get access to edit all those things, so 99% it will be smooth. In the production environment, when we get issue, if we get something wrong in the file, then only we get issue, otherwise we'll not get any issue. But in the dev and test environment, so if we set up SnowPipe and everyone, all users have access to edit those things, right? So there can be issues. So what are all the issues we may get? And if we get some issue, how to resolve? What are the steps to take care? Okay, we'll discuss all those things today. So what do we call that as troubleshooting? Some suppose our pipe, SnowPipe is not working. What we have to do? We have to troubleshoot it. So there are some particular steps. What are all the ways to troubleshoot the SnowPipe? Okay, so we have to check three things mainly. Okay, first of all, we have to check the pipe status. Pipe is we have to check pipe is up and running or not. Okay, if pipe is up and running, okay, we don't have any issues with the pipe. Okay, then we have to check the copy history of the table. So for every table we are loading, it maintains the copy history. That means what all the files coming into the table, what all the files getting loaded into the table metadata maintains the copy history. So we can go there and we can check the copy history, what are all the files loaded. If there is any error in the file which is coming, okay, coming from the pipe, it will not load, but it will make one entry like there is some issue with this file and not able to load, so it will show the error also. Okay, so this if we see this, we'll get error. What is the error we are getting? Suppose we don't have any issue with this also, copy history also showing that there are no errors, then we have to validate the data files. That means data files are arrived at arrived correctly or not. Okay, if there are any issues inside the data file, if we have received the correct file or not, so we have to check from the file side, AWS side. Okay, so we'll see all these steps in practical today. Okay, we'll show you how to check from the Snowflake side all these things. Okay, so the first thing is we have to check the pipe status. Okay, to check the pipe status, we have one query called select system system dollar pipe status. Okay, so this is one variable which holds the pipe status of all the pipes. Okay, so we can simply use like this: select system dollar pipe status. So inside the parenthesis you have to give your pipe name. Whatever pipe you want to check the status, you have to give this name. So if we give like this, it will give us some fields. Okay, so pipe is running, or pipe is passed, or pipe is not working. So it will show the status, and along with those some of the fields, there are two important fields in the pipe status. Okay, last received message timestamp and last forwarded message timestamp. So these are the two important fields. Based on these two fields only, we can say like pipe is working as expected or not. So let's see what are those two timestamps. Okay, so last received message timestamp, if you just read this you can understand. Okay, so specifies the timestamp of last event message received from the message queue. That means, so whenever we place some files in the AWS S3 buckets, okay, so what will happen? A notification will be triggered. That means AWS will send a notification like file is arrived. So Snowflake will receive that notification, right? It will receive one notification, event mess. We call that notification as event message. Okay, so this timestamp is the timestamp when the event message received from the AWS. Okay, so you're understanding, right? Whenever the AWS is sending a notification event message to Snowflake, it stores the timestamp when we are getting that. Okay, so what will happen? Suppose if the timestamp is earlier than expected, suppose at morning 6 o'clock I have processed one file. Okay, so that means I have uploaded one file into AWS, and 6 o'clock we have received that message and we have processed it, and it worked very fine. Okay, but at 7 o'clock I placed one file. Okay, I placed one file in the AWS, but when I check the pipe status, it is showing me still 6 o'clock only. Whenever the last message came, that is showing as 6 o'clock. That means there is some issue with the pipe status, right? So even though we are uploading one file at 7 o'clock, it is showing me still 6 o'clock only. That means definitely there is an issue with service configuration. That means um, event event management configuration we did right yesterday. That means there is some issue with the service configuration where we are copying that ARN into SQSQ. Okay, so maybe ARN someone has modified, or someone has modified this configuration, Amazon SQS configuration. That's it, right? Because whenever it is not sending the message like object has arrived, that means there is some issue with the configuration. And what is the configuration we did yesterday? We just described the pipe, we get the ARN, and we are pasting that ARN in the AWS side. Okay, in the Amazon SQS ERN, we are pasting that. So whenever we are not getting a notification from AWS side, that means this ERN setup is not working. Okay, so what we have to in that case, we have to verify whether ARN any settings were changed in your service configuration. So in the last 1 hour, any settings changed in the configuration. Okay, we have to check that. Okay, this is how we have to deal when there is issue with the service configuration. Hope you are understanding. So last received message timestamp is the timestamp when we have received the last notification from AWS, like a file has arrived into the S3 bucket. Okay, so if it is earlier than expected, that means it is not up to date. The time is this timestamp is not up to date. That means something issue with the configuration. So we have to fix that configuration issue. Then the files will come. Okay, so this is one thing. The second thing is last forwarded timestamp. So what this means? So this timestamp specifies the last create object event message that was forwarded to the pipe. So suppose this is the first one, we have received the notification like uh, file has arrived into S3 buckets. Okay, but after coming that, Snowflake is not able to uh, forward the message to SnowPipe. Okay, like the create one object came to S3 bucket, you can start processing it. So this is last forwarded timestamp. So Snowflake is forwarding the message to SnowPipe, like the file has arrived into the S3 buckets. You can start processing that. You can start loading the data. So that is called last forwarded timestamp. Okay, so suppose again suppose we have processed one file at 6 o'clock, and at 7 o'clock we have uploaded one more file. Okay, and we can see that last received timestamp is 10 o'clock, 7 o'clock. That means we don't have any issue with this timestamp. That means event message configuration is working as expected, but it is not able to forward the message to SnowPipe. So there can be some reason. Okay, so if you see the second line, if this value is not similar to the above timestamp, suppose we have received that file at 7 o'clock, and if it is still showing 6 o'clock here forwarded message, so what that means, then there is a mismatch between the cloud storage path where the new data files are created. So in the AWS side, we have created some path, right, to upload the files, SnowPipe files. What is the path? Pipes CSV. So there can be a mismatch between that path type And also we are specifying one path at the Snowflake stage object. Snowflake, while creating the Snowflake stage object, we create, right, URL equals to S3 bucket, S3 bucket name, then pipe CSV. We give one file path, right? So those both of those paths are not similar. That's why it is not able to send the notification like you can start processing the file. Okay, so Snowflake sends that notification to SnowPipe. Okay, but why it is not able to send? So there is some mismatch between the AWS path and the path we have specified while creating the stage object. Both are not matching. Suppose in the last 1 hour anyone can change the code, right? In the copy command it can be changed. Okay, if there are any changes in the path, then we get error here. So it's not like error, it will not show any error, but it will not processing the files. So even though files are coming into the S3 buckets, SnowPipe is not able to process them and load the data. Okay, so these are the two things we have to check in the SnowPipe pipe status. Okay, so how to get the pipe status? Select system dollar pipe status. In the brackets we have to specify the pipe name. Okay, so what is the remediation for the second type of issue? So we have to verify the paths. Okay, what is the path in the AWS side and what is the path in the stage object creation? Okay, so we have to correct them if there is any mismatch. So these are the two issues we may get. Okay, whenever our pipe is not working, first of all we have to check these two things. Okay, so we'll show you in practical where to check, how to check these things. Okay, so let's do now itself. Okay, I have uploaded the latest file to OneDrive. Okay, suppose for our better understanding, what I will do one code change from our side. Okay, so we have loaded some two files by using SnowPipe yesterday, right? Do you remember? So we placed two files. Okay, and we have loaded them by using this thing, SnowPipe. Okay, and this is the place we have copied. So let me sign in. So we have placed two files here and the SnowPipe was processing them without any issues. Now let's do some code change from our side. Okay, and let's try to process files. Okay, so this is my S3 bucket and this is my pipes folder. Okay, so we have placed two files yesterday and we have processed both the files. And if you want to check the same, okay, you can check the number of records in the table we have loaded yesterday. So the number of records, it is 200. So we have loaded two files with 100 records each and there are 200 rows in the table now. Okay, now I'm just doing little change in my file format object. So we have uploaded CSV file right yesterday. So if you remember, we have created our file format object with comma. Okay, because my file contains comma as the delimiter, field delimiter. So I have created like that only. So just for our understanding, let's try to change it to okay, some pipe symbol. Okay, so I'm changing my delimiter from comma to pipe symbol, so that even though we place files into AWS S3 buckets, our pipe cannot read them because something has changed here. Okay, so let's do that. I'm just modifying my file format object. Okay, so I'm just testing. So is it able to load the files after changing? So I'm testing my copy command. Copy into the table name from this AWS, stage AWS pipes, and I'm giving some pattern with employees. So there are already two files, right? Let's try to execute this. So what it is saying, it is throwing some error, like saying columns in the file does not match with the corresponding table. So it is saying in the table there are 6 columns, but in the file it is there is only one column. Why it is saying one column? Okay, so whenever you specify this delimiter, it is not able to find this delimiter. That means it is considering entire row as one field only. So whenever it identifies this pipe symbol, then only it will split the records into 2 columns or 3 columns, right? But it is not able to find that comma. Okay, earlier we used comma, so now we have changed it to this one. Okay, this is not able to see any pipe delimiter in the file. That's why it's considering all the line as one field only. So in the file we have only one field, but in the table we have 6 fields. So it is not able to process. Now what we do? Okay. So first before going there, now I'll upload one file to AWS S3 bucket, and let's see if the SnowPipe can process that file or not. If not, we'll see how to debug that issue, how to troubleshoot that issue. Okay, so step by step we do. So the first thing is before that I want to execute the pipe status. Okay, so let's run this. So whenever you just run this, select a system dollar pipe status. My pipe name is employee pipe. I have created this employee pipe yesterday. Okay, so whenever you run that command, it shows you some text. Okay, you cannot understand this, so just click here and it displays some of the information. Still, if you cannot understand this, you just copy it. Okay, and paste it over some text pad or notepad. Now try to see what are all the things we wanted to check. Okay, last received error message. Okay, last received message, sorry, not error message, and last forwarded timestamp. So if you see, last received message timestamp was yesterday, it was 7/6. Okay, and this is some time in UTC time zone, I think. Okay, so this is the time when we processed the files yesterday. Okay, so as of now it is correct. And if you see, the other parameters like execution status is running. Okay, so whenever you pass your pipe, it shows like pipe is passed. Okay, but now it is up and running. Okay, pending file count, it shows also pending file count. So if there are any files to be processed in the AWS S3 bucket, it shows that. Okay, and it is showing last ingested timestamp. So when it has loaded the data into table for the last time, it is showing that timestamp. Okay, and what is the ingested file path? Last time, what is the file it has ingested? Okay, so we have ingested uh, employee 1 and employee 2. So I processed them, both of them at a time yesterday. After our session, I processed them again. Okay, parallelly. So it processed the file 2 first, then file 1. That's why it is showing employee 1 as the latest. Okay. And this is the notification channel, whatever we have given at the AWS side. So the rest of the things you can ignore. The important things is this one only. First 3 fields: execution state, pending file count. It should execution state should be running only. Otherwise, that means your pipe is passed or not working. Okay, and these two are the very important fields. Based on these two only, we can check like we have any errors with the pipe status, we have any errors with the pipe side, like the authentication, service configuration, or file path issues. Okay, So let's see. Let's now try to upload one file to S3 buckets. Okay, I'm uploading one file. Okay, so we have processed already file 1 and file 2. That's why I'm uploading file 3. Okay, upload upload has been completed. Now I can see 3 files here. Okay, so let's see. So it takes some 30 seconds to 1 minute to process the files, right? So let's wait 30 seconds. Okay, and you can check here the pipe, this one. So earlier it was, you just understand, earlier it was, so I am removing this part. Okay, now we'll get these parameters again and we'll compare it. Okay, so it's already done. Uh, so if you compare the timestamps, okay, so the previous one was 7/6, and if you see, it is 7/7. That means we don't have last received message timestamp is working fine as expected. Whenever we are placing the files, uh, AWS is able to send the notification to Snowflake. That is successful. So we don't have any issue with the configuration, SnowPipe configuration. Okay, and in the second row, last forwarded message timestamp is the similar to the above timestamp, same timestamp. That means we don't have any issue with the paths also. So the path we have specified in the AWS side is same as the path we have specified in the stage object creation. So both are matching. That's why there is no issue. Pipe configuration is working and the pipe paths are correct. So we don't have any issue with this. So if you see some, suppose if it is still showing some 7/6, okay, 7/6, that means there is some issue with your configuration. Here, if it is showing 7/6, that is something issue with your file path. And it can be any side. Okay. So this is how we have to look the pipe status by looking at these two parameters. Okay. Whenever you have to check first this one, execution state, it is passed or running. Okay. So we don't have any issue with this. Now we have to go to second step. So we are good with the first step. Pipe status is up and running and it is able to send or receive the notifications properly. So what is the second step? Let's go to second step. So this gives more clarity for us. So second step is view the copy history. So if we can view the copy history for any tables, okay, where SnowPipe is applied or stage objects created and doing manual load. So every table maintains the copy history. Okay, so copy history shows the history of all file loads and errors, if any. Okay, it shows the any errors also while processing the file. If it encounters any error, it shows that what error message also. Okay, and view copy history by using below query. So this is the query we use to uh, see the copy history of any table. So the query is like select star from table. Okay, select star from table, and I forgot to explain about information schema. Okay, so I in one of the session I was saying, right, there is one default schema whenever we create some database, that is information schema. It maintains all the details about what we are doing. Okay, the copy history, the pipe history. Okay, all the control things will be stored in the information schema. Okay, so whatever we are doing, everything will be stored in the information schema. Okay, so in the information schema we'll have one table. Okay, this is one schema and this is the table name, copy history. So in this table, so if you go to table name, so you have to mention this parenthesis properly. Okay. So if you see, you have to specify the table name. So in our case, our table name is employee data, and we have to say some start time. So from when you want to check the copy history. Okay. So these two are the mandatory parameters. If you don't specify these two parameters, your query will not work. Okay. So start time, you can put any timestamp. Okay. Or you can put some expression. Suppose I want to check last 2 days file. How you can check? So you can say like current timestamp -2. That means it will show the last 2 days files, 2 days copy history. So that's why you can mention the manually timestamp, or you can mention some expression like current timestamp 1 - 1 or 2, like that. Or there are some other expressions like we use date, add date difference, those things. Okay, we'll show you that. So if we want to check copy history, what we have to do? We have to select star from table. The table is information schema dot copy history, and we have to specify two parameters: table name, okay, and start time. These are the two parameters we have to provide. Okay. So this is the second step. So let's try to execute the same. Okay. So our first step was successfully, so we don't have any issues with that. So let's go to the second step. Okay. Step 2 is checking the copy history. So what I'm doing here, select star from the table, information schema dot copy history. Okay. Table name I am giving our table name, my own db dot public dot employee data, and start time I'm giving. So we can give any time actually. That means suppose if I have issue like in last 2 hours the files are not processing. I can just here do last 2 hours. Okay. If my files are not processing for last 24 hours, I can specify 24 hours also. Okay. So we can specify any values. Okay. That means, so if you look at this function, what it is doing, so this is a date add function for calculating. So for the addition of dates, for the subtraction of dates, we use this function. So for addition, we have to specify a positive number here. That means I'm adding 24 hours to the current timestamp. That means tomorrow the same time. Okay. But if we are specifying a negative number here, that means I'm going back to 1 day. That means current timestamp minus 24 hours. Okay. So date add. Okay. We are adding hours. Okay. We can add minutes also to the current timestamp. Minutes, seconds also we can add here. We can add days also here. Okay. So but I want to check last 24 hours what happened. Okay. So select star from table, information schema dot copy history. Table name I am giving like this. Okay, whatever the table we were loading yesterday. Okay, and start time I'm just checking last 24 hours. Okay. with so let's execute this. So if you see, there are 3 rows. In last 24 hours it is showing the copy history. Okay. So this is our file names column. Okay. So we have processed 3 files in last 24 hours. Okay. If you see, this file loaded 100 records. Okay. And this file loaded 100 records. Excuse me. Okay. So from this file, 100 records been loaded. And if you see the last file, employee 3.csv file, what it is showing, it has passed 100 rows, but it hasn't loaded any records, 0 records, because there is some error with this file. And if you want to check that error message, we have a field called first error message. So whenever it encounters the first error, it will display that error. Okay. So it will start to process all the rows parsed, 100 rows parsed, right? Suppose if we don't have any issue with the first 2 rows. Okay. So it will encounter the error at the third row. Okay. So it will show us here. Okay. What is the error message it was facing? So let's open this. So the same error message, whatever we got while we testing the copy command, right? So number of columns in the file is 1. and it is not matching with the number of columns in the table, that is 6. Okay, so use file format option error, uh, error on column count mismatch to ignore this error. So it is suggesting also one approach. What it is saying, modify your file format object. Okay, so that you change it to, it is not specifically saying change it to comma, but you can look at your file format object to get the error. Okay, so this is how we have to check the errors by using the copy history. We just have to run this copy history query, and it will show us all the details, whatever the files processed within that time frame we are specifying here. Okay, so if we see here, in our case, 2 files were successfully processed, and third file there is issue, and it is showing clearly the issue also, what is the issue. Okay, so this is how we have to use the copy history in the second step. This is simple only. We just have to specify our name. You have to learn all these queries. Otherwise, you will get as it is the queries in the Google. Okay. So you just have to replace your table names and the number of hours. What is the time frame you want to check. Okay. You will get all these queries in the Google as it is. But whenever the interviewer is asking you, so how can you check the copy history? No need to say like exact syntax of this query. So you can say like in the information schema. So for every table, the copy history will be loaded in the copy history table. So from that table, we can get that copy history by specifying the table name and the start time. You have to answer like that. Okay. So are we good with the step 2? So now we got to know like there is issue with step 2 itself. We'll see what is the step 3. Okay, are we good?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So the third step is validate the data files. So this is not in our hand because our source system, our source provider will be sending the files, right? So here in case it is our code mistake. In the file format object, we by mistake we specified pipe symbol instead of comma. So that is our mistake. So there can be a third thing. So where source provider uh, can send the wrong files, right? So how to deal with that? If the load operation encounters any errors in the data files, the copy history table function describes the first error encountered in the each file. Okay. To validate the data files, query the validate pipe load table. So here itself it is saying in the second step what we did, it is saying again. Okay. So if the load operation encounters any errors in the data files, okay. So if there are code mistakes, even if there are issues in the data files also, copy history will show us. Okay. What are all the files it tried to process and what is the error it is facing. So it shows that information. But if we want to validate the data files, what are the errors in the files? Okay, we can just run the validate pipe load query. Okay, so it is very similar to the last query. So here instead of validating the table, okay, here we'll validate the pipe. Okay, so if you see the query, it is like select star from table, information schema, and this is the table we are fetching the data, validate pipe load. In the last scenario, it was copy history table, but in this scenario, it is information schema dot validate pipe load. And here instead of table name, we have to pass pipe name and whatever the pipe we have created, and the start time, it is similar to the last time. So we can put some manual timestamp. Okay, so hard coded timestamp value, or we can put some expression. Okay, so let's see that. But we understood like the issue is in the second step itself. But if there are any issues, okay, in the third step, suppose I don't have any issue with my file format object, but still the load is failing, we can check where the exact error is. Okay, so this is how we check the validate pipe load status. Okay, so select star from table, information schema dot validate pipe load, pipe name, and I'm okay. giving my pipe name, so that we had created yesterday, employee underscore pipe, and I'm mentioning the start time as just 2 hours only. I'm specifying. Okay, that means we just place the file some 10 minutes back, right? I don't want to check all the 24 hours. Okay, I'm just checking 2 hours or 1 hour for now. Okay, so let's try to run this. So it is showing. So while loading the records, okay, it encountered it encountered the same error in each of the line. Okay, so it is not like that, but we can understand like with each row of the file we have this issue. Okay, that's why because we have 100 rows in in the file, so it is showing the error 100 times. Okay, so what is the error it is saying again? So it is saying the same issue, same error. Number of columns in the file is not matching with the number of columns in the table. Okay, so this is how we validate the pipe load, but this is not required. The third step is mostly not required. So whenever you have some issue with the data files also, the second step will show you what is the error. Then you can reach your source provider. So we have this issue in the file, even though our code is correct, but the files are not getting processed. So when we check the data file manually, so we identified these are the errors. Okay, so can you please provide the correct file? So like that, we have to approach our source providers. Okay. So these are the three steps. Okay. So how we can troubleshoot our pipes. Understood? Suppose now there are some more steps we have to do. Okay. So suppose there was some issue in our case, there was some issue with our file format object. So I got to know our file format object is wrong. So I will create it. I will recreate it with the correct field delimiter. After that, what will happen? So if you correct it, there is this file. It will be loaded automatically. No. Okay. So if there are, suppose there are some pending files, 3, 4, 5 like that. For each and every hour the file is coming, but because of some issue with the file format object, it is not able to load all those files. So what we have to do? So whenever you correct your code, it will not process all these history files. Okay. So it will not process all the history files. Those are present in the AWS S3 bucket. So whenever we correct our code, we have to do one manual load. Okay. So we have to process all those files. So how to process the files manually? So instead of running entire pipe, so we can just execute the copy command that is there in the pipe definition. So in the pipe definition, we put some copy command, right? So I can say like my employee 3 CSV file was not processed. So I have to load this file manually. Okay. And the next time, whenever the files are coming, they will be processed automatically. So we'll not have any issue with those files. But whatever the files stuck as of now, we have to process them manually. So we have to load the history data by running the copy command manually. Okay, so this is my copy command I placed inside the pipe. That's why I'm just running it. Okay, so we haven't corrected our code, right? File format object. That's why it is still displaying this error. So let's go back and correct your this one. Change the correct the delimiter. Delimiter to comma. Okay, so I'm just changing that. Okay. So I have modified my file format object, and now let's try to load this file. So now it is working as expected. So it has loaded 100 rows from the table, from the file to this table. And let's check the same here. Select star from our table. So earlier it was 200 rows, now it is 300 rows. Okay. So this is how we have to process if there are any issues with our pipes. Okay. First we have to go through those steps. Okay. Then you have to correct your code or correct your data files or correct your authentication issues like configuration issues or the file path issues. So you have to look over all of those things. So wherever the issue is there, so you have to rectify that issue. And if there are any files pending for processing, so we have to process those files manually for one time, and from next time it will take care. The SnowPipe will take care. It will process the files automatically. One last thing with the pipes. Okay, I hope it is easy only to implement the pipes, like to create the pipes and load the data from files to tables. Okay, so there is one last thing, managing pipes. So how can you see the properties of the pipe? How can you show the pipes present in your Snowflake account? Okay, how to pass your pipe, how to resume your pipe. Okay, those things. Okay, so we already seen this. Use describe pipe name. So describe space pipe name command to see the pipe properties and the copy command. Suppose if I want to see the copy command inside my pipe, okay, and I want to make some changes to that. First, before making the changes, you should be able to see what is the copy command inside that pipe, right? So if you just do this describe pipe name, it will show all the properties along with the copy command. Okay, and this is use show pipes command to see all the pipes. So there are number of multiple pipes in my Snowflake. Okay, if I want to see what are all the pipes present, okay, I can just simply run this show pipes command. Okay, let's go there and run it. So the describe what is our pipe name, employee underscore pipe. Okay, we have to specify entire path. Hmm, okay, sorry. So the syntax is describe pipe, then this one. Let me put this there. Okay, so describe space pipe space the pipe name we have to specify here. It shows where is that pipe, which schema it is created, which database it is created, when it was created. Okay, and the copy command here we can see. Okay, so this is how we can check the properties of pipe. Okay, and if I want to list all the pipes present in my account, okay, so I just have to execute this one. So as of now I have only one pipe, and this is my pipe. Okay, and if I want to specifically see the pipes, okay, so I don't want to see all the pipes. I want to see only employee, the pipe name starting with the employee or containing the employee. So I can just run like this, show pipes like. Okay, and if I want to see all the pipes present in my database, okay, so this is the command, show pipes in the database. And the same way, if I want to see all the pipes present in my schema, show schema, show pipes in schema, this is one. And if I want to see all the pipes present in a particular database and with particular pattern, so this is how we have to write our query, show pipes like this one inside the database. This is the database name we have to provide. So this is how we can see the pipes. This is not important, but just for your information, I'm saying. Okay. And let's come back here. So we can pass our resume pipe with this one pipe execution passed equals to true or false. Okay. So suppose I have some issues with my pipes. Okay. I want to rectify those. So before doing all those things, okay, or suppose I got to know like there is some file issues from source provider. Okay. I don't want to run my pipe. Okay, I want to just pass my pipe. Whenever there is requirement of passing the pipe, so we can simply execute this command. Okay, alter pipe set pipe execution passed equals to true. True means it will be passed. Again, if we want to set it back, so we have to mention pipe execution passed equals to false. We'll see this in practical how we do. So this is one of the best practice. It is a best practice to pass and resume pipes before and after performing below actions. So when we have to resume, pass and resume our pipes, okay. So when modifying the stage object, so if I feel like there is some change in the stage object, okay, and if we are referring that stage inside our copy command which is present in the pipe, in that case, before modifying the stage object, I want to just it's best practice, not mandatory, but it's best practice. So we can just pass our pipe, do modify your stage object and resume your pipe. Okay, so that it will not start processing any files in between. And whenever you are modifying your file format object, just now we have seen some issues with my file format objects, right? So if you want to modify any file format object which is referred in that pipe, okay, just pass that pipe, do your modification to file format object and resume your pipe again. And if you want to modify the copy command, so if you want to modify the copy command also, pass the pipe, modify your copy command and resume the pipe. And when recreating the pipes, so if I want to replace my files with the other definition, so both of these are same almost. Okay, so if I want to change my copy command, I don't have any other option to modify the copy command. I don't have any other option. I just have to recreate the pipe. That means I have to run create or replace pipe only. Okay, so we cannot alter the copy command by using alter statement. So here alter we use only for setting the pipe status. Okay, pipe execution passed equals to true or false. So whenever I want to change my this one copy command, there is no other option. We have to run this command, create or replace pipe name. And this is one important thing. When you recreate your pipe, when you replace your pipe, all the load history will be dropped. Okay, so we have seen the copy history, right? So all the copy history for that pipe, for not that table, but validate pipe load we have seen, right? So that history will be cleared here. So whenever we recreate the same pipe, whenever we replace the same pipe, all the load history for that pipe will be dropped. Okay, so these are some of the things. Okay, let's go and check. So this is how we can do. Let's copy this. So my requirement is I want to modify my copy command. So I want to load the data into employee data 2 table, not employee data table. Okay, this is the change I want to do in my copy command. So we can modify this stage object also. Anything if we want to change in this copy command or the pattern I want to change, anything we can change here. Okay, so what we have to do, the best practice is you have to set your you have to pass your pipe. So how to do that? Alter pipe name, alter pipe name, set pipe execution passed equals to true. Okay, so let's execute this. And if I want to check it is passed or not, so I can run this. Okay. So if you see the status, it is passed now because just now we have executed the pass alter command. Okay, so this is how we pass or resume our pipes. Okay, and suppose I want to execute this command again. Okay, I'm modifying my copy command. I'm just modifying the table name from employee data to employee data 2. Okay, So here it is showing you some error, like this table is table does not exist. Okay, just for understanding purpose, I am modifying like this. Okay, or here I can say, let's put it the pattern I am changing, employee data like this. Okay, so I want to modify my pattern name, so I can do that like this. So the pipe has been modified, okay, and it was recreated. Okay, now if you check the pipe status again, it will be still passed only. Okay, so as we have recreated it for the first time, it is showing it is as running. Okay, because we replaced that, right? So it was my mistake. Whenever we recreate the pipe, okay, by default it will be in the running state. Okay, but if we do other changes like creating the modifying the stage object or modifying the file format object, definitely you have to follow first. You have to pass your pipe and do your changes. Okay, so this I'm removing, this is wrong. Okay, when we recreate, okay, so the pipe will be up and running default by default. Okay, understanding, right? I hope. So this is how we can create pipes, troubleshoot pipes, and manage pipes. I hope this session is helpful for you. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. If you have any queries on this video, SnowPipe or troubleshooting SnowPipe, you can reach me on this email. I will paste all the queries I have executed in this session in the description of this video. You can take that and practice. Thank you. Bye.